Forget the velvet capes. Forget the romantic aristocratic counts lingering in grand Victorian castles. Forget the sparkling skin. The true origin of the vampire didn't start with a kiss on the neck. It started in the mud of 18th century Eastern Europe, with a bloated, rotting corpse crawling out of a shallow grave to suffocate its own family. This is the strigoi. Modern vampire tropes completely evolved from 14th to 18th century Balkan lore, where creatures like the strigoi were feared not as seducers, but as vengeful, suffocating undead that would return specifically to destroy the people who loved them most. But to understand why entire villages in the 1700s descended into mass hysteria, digging up their dead, staking them to the earth, setting them on fire in open fields, you have to look beyond the graveyard. You have to look up. At a cosmic war between a thunder god and an underworld serpent. A war of unimaginable pettiness, betrayal, and dark magic. A war that has been going on since before the first human being ever drew breath. What ancient, terrifying forces birthed the first undead? Let's unearth the truth. Long before the word vampire was ever whispered, Slavic mythology, originating deep in the Neolithic period, reflected a highly dualistic understanding of the cosmos. Forged in the diverse and often unforgiving climates of Eastern Europe, this was a worldview with no room for comfortable ambiguity. The universe was not neutral. It was a battlefield. At the center of this cosmic architecture stood the World Tree, a colossal divine axis connecting three realms: the heavens above, the mortal earth in the middle, and the underworld below. This vertical structure established the fundamental law of Slavic existence, that everything above ground belonged to light, order, and the living, and everything beneath the soil belonged to darkness, chaos, and the dead. In the beginning, there was only primordial darkness. From this void, the supreme creator, Svarog, hatched from a cosmic egg. A divine blacksmith. He forged the sun and daylight, shaped the earth, and from the remaining fragments of the egg, created his divine sons. But light, by its very nature, casts shadows. And then there is the absolute manifestation of rot. Enter Chernobog. He is the god of death and evil, and he is unlike any dark deity in any other mythology. Chernobog does not simply rule the dead. He is not passive. He creates. He stands at a massive subterranean forge, hammering dark minions from black iron, building armies from nothing, forging the raw material of every dark creature that will ever haunt the surface world. It is within this suffocating, fatalistic worldview, where evil is literally hammered into the fabric of reality, that the concept of the walking dead first took root. To understand the monsters that haunted the peasant class, we need to understand the divine drama ruling their skies. Svarog's favored son was Perun, the authoritative god of the sky, thunder, and lightning, symbolized by the axe and the oak tree, a warrior deity of absolute righteous authority. Where Perun walked, lightning followed. Where he struck, rains came. He was the guarantor of the agricultural world, the divine protector, standing between humanity and annihilation. But festering in the roots of the world tree, down below in the wet darkness, was his brother, Veles. Veles is the god of the underworld, magic, cattle, and wealth. He is depicted not as a noble warrior, but as a serpent, a dragon, something that moves low to the ground, that coils rather than strikes, that accumulates rather than conquers. Their conflict defines the Slavic agricultural calendar. In the most pervasive version of the myth, the greedy Veles descends to the surface and hoards the earth's water or steals its livestock, dragging them down into the underworld. Drought follows. Famine threatens. The earth begins to die. And so Perun descends in a catastrophic thunderstorm, battling Veles across the surface of the earth, chasing him through forests, beneath rivers, inside the hollow bodies of cattle, until his lightning axe finally strikes, releasing the rains and restoring terrestrial wealth. But the rivalry was never just cosmic maintenance. It was deeply, savagely personal. Veles didn't just want Perun's power. He wanted his bride. In an act of unparalleled divine deception, Veles disguised himself as a lily, to impregnate Perun's betrothed, Dodola. When Perun discovered this ultimate betrayal, his wrath was not measured, it was apocalyptic. The battle that followed permanently redrew the map of the cosmos. Veles was banished permanently to the underworld. The boundary between the living world above and the rotting world below was sealed. But banishment is not destruction. Veles did not stop wanting. He simply had to reach up from below. And the thing his reaching produced, the thing that crawled out of the Balkan earth to suffocate its own family in the dead of winter, had a name.